All right, so welcome you guys. This is the fourth day of our short course. And so we are so excited to begin today with such an amazing but essential theme. So our theme today is focused on ethics. And so our theme is misconception number 4, AI is unethical and biased. And so is that true? Is that false? You be the judge, but we'll find out more information today. And so the person who is presenting today is Alba Zarate. And so I'm excited about the content. I will tell you about Alba. I'm just going to let you know. I'm going to tell you about Alba. Alba is so I thought I was skeptical. But Alba is no comparison. Alba is our skeptic, and I'm just going to give her that title, but she's amazing. And so she's able to think critically about AI as a topic. And so I know a lot of you are joining us from social media with the social media class, or if that's your subject matter expert category, or a lot of you are interested in the AI, but just have your minds open today to different information that you will see. And so without further ado, the next person you will hear from is Alba.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today. And today, before this kind of goes into ethics, it's a lot of things people are worried about. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, AI has been been integrated in all of our social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. Wherever you go, there's some sort of AI being, introduced to you. And some people are using it, some people are not. But this is a new type of AI that is being introduced through Meta, and that's kind of the Facebook, Instagram world. This is coming out to Instagram in 2025. So it's not out yet, but it will be out next year. We don't really know exactly the month, but it's going to be next year. And basically what it is, it's a way for Meta describes it as a way to partner with directors and creators who kind of focus on content and stuff like that. So any social media people, that would kind of include you. So basically how it works, and you see all of these images floating across the screen, these are all AI. So basically how it works is you input something if you want to, like this picture of this woman, and you'd say, I want this woman to be sitting on the grass in the pumpkin patch. What she's wearing, holding a cup, and what you want the background to kind of look like. And it would produce something like this. It could even do stuff like introduce music along. So if you want, put thunder cracks, orchestral music, and that's kind of what it would look like. And this is all AI, the music, the images, the thunder crack. So you could see how this could potentially work really well for a movie, something like that. You could even ask it to transform objects that are already in a video into something else. So it would be like this lantern, turn it into a bubble that's soaring in the air. And it's really, really amazing because you can't even tell that that was originally a lantern. It morphs and it moves exactly how a bubble would. You don't even see a trace of the lantern anywhere in the new video. Or you could ask it to give you a whole new video of a girl running across the beach holding a kite. She's wearing jean shorts, a yellow t-shirt, the sun is shining down. And yeah, it looks exactly what it described. So there's other ways you can do this, or you could introduce a fluffy koala bear surfs. And you just put input, like kind of like we did with Gemini, you have to make it as detailed as possible so it'll give you exactly what you want. The more specific, the better. So even here, the input was the sun is shining. So if you want the sun to be shining in the video, you would have to specifically put that in. Or you could put a ghost in a white bedsheet faces a mirror, and you can see how specific these prompts are. The ghost reflection can be seen in the mirror. The ghost is in a dusty attic filled with old beams, cloth-covered furniture. The attic is reflected in the mirror. The light is cool and natural. The ghost dances in front of the mirror. So it creates all of this by how specific you are in these prompts. And that's kind of how AI thrives. The more specific you are with it, the better it is. And that includes all AI. You could even edit videos that you already have and make it morph it into something else. So that's the original video of the dog. You would make the poodle wear a pink onesie with ears, and then it will give you the poodle wearing a pink onesie with ears. Or change the background to a royal garden with fountains and statues, and it would give you that. Or just straight up change the poodle color to blue. Um, and you can do this with you can make the person who's in the video start wearing glasses, change the background to a carnival, or you can make it add pouring rain. You could change the clothing in these videos, so make the penguins wear Victorian outfits, or add beach and umbrellas and beach beds in the background, or even change the style of the video, so make it a pencil sketch. So if you wanted a video to look slightly different, like mosaic or whatever, you would probably just change the style to like a mosaic type of video, and it would give you that. Another example that they provide here is you can add stuff that to the person who is in motion, glue pom-poms to his hand, or completely change him, replace the running clothes with an inflatable dinosaur costume, and it'll give you exactly that. It doesn't even, it looks like someone originally put on the dinosaur costume, went out into the desert, and just started running. Um, it also, like we said, can change what you're already wearing into something else, change the VR headset to binoculars, remove it, which is something that was really crazy to me because how does it know what you look like underneath that you know, or, in the background, add bubbles and add a futuristic effect. So it can change the style of whatever you're doing into whatever you want. It can either be a video you already have and just input it. It can make a video out of like just text prompts, or you can just want a video to have different background, different clothing, different headwear, and it will do that. And this is going to be available on Instagram. So all of us eventually will have access to this. You can make personalized videos. So if you want to input like a woman's face, someone that you know, or even yourself, like I want to see a video of myself painting. It would generate with your face a video of you painting something. And if you want to add a bear baby cub in the background or in the front room, it could do that. And, same thing. Input your own face, make a video of whatever you want. But obviously, you have to be specific. So this is a selfie and put in a beagle puppy. I'm in the background with a patio filled with trees, make me have a big smile on my face, all of this stuff. So this is kind of something that is going to be introduced. I mean, this is already kind of been happening with AI and celebrities. They already like are inputting faces to celebrities. I'm sure all of us have seen, AI pictures of celebrities doing something that they didn't actually do, but it was just AI. But this is going to be something that we're going to be able to do now with our own faces as well. So it's very, very interesting. Another thing that I really liked is you can input sound effects and soundtracks in the video. This is something I think is important in terms of creating and content because if movie directors or whatever want to input AI into their videos, they can do that with the music playing in the background like this.
Alba, are we supposed to be hearing anything?
Oh, you can't hear it? Okay.
No, no.
Okay. Well, anyways, you could hear the orchestral music in the background. So
And Alba, there's a sound button potentially in the lower right-hand corner.
yeah, I clicked it. You still can't hear it?
No, it must be something in the Zoom settings.
It might be something in the Zoom settings, but either way, it's orchestral music playing in the background. So this would be guitar music in the background, and you would save a lot of money potentially because you don't have to, if you're making a movie or something, you don't have to contract a whole orchestra to implement the music in whatever you're making. You would just put in the AI, I wanted to have this type of tense music in the scene or whatever, and it would generate a movie scene with the music that you want, and you can change it and you can take it away and may no, I don't like it, do something else. So that's one thing that's really interesting because it's actually going to be used in the future a lot with movie directors, and they've discussed how they are going to be partnering up with Meta Movie Gen, and they are going to be implementing this in future content movies. Movies that we go see in the theater are probably someday going to be made of in just by AI. There will be no real actors or, whatever in these movies anymore. The music will probably be generated by AI. The scripts, maybe at a certain point, will be generated by AI. Obviously, it will be a little daunting to deal with this at first. Maybe a lot of people will reject it outright, but we do have to kind of see it in the way that it's not more like a thing that's making it. It's just us collaborating with it and using it as a tool to benefit us. And a lot of directors really like the idea because it works, it benefits them in terms of budget. There's a lot of problems with, up and coming directors or movies, people saying, I have this wonderful, I dream of doing this, but I just don't have the budget for it. I don't have the budget to have these sceneries or this music or any of these action shots. And now I can, I can do all of those things and not have it cost as much if, a quarter of the price that it would have been originally. So with that, we're going to go into AI and ethics and the misconceptions. But if anyone has any comments or questions about this kind of tool that is going to be introduced to us on Instagram in 2025, feel free to unmute or put it in the chat. But while that's happening, we're just going to go into what today is really all about, the misconceptions of AI and whether it's unethical and biased. And if anyone doesn't have any comments or questions.
Alba, of course we have comments and questions. All that. Oh
Great.
my goodness.
Love that.
When you get a chance, look in the chat, and I don't know if you can see like both, but
I know.
there it's happening in the chat. And so there's some information about should we work on how to spot AI generated images and videos. There's some commentary about that. Also, Dr. Muster says, I believe that anything created by AI video or photo should have a disclaimer and watermark in the corner. And then let's see, Samantha says, I've seen a lot of videos on Facebook that were created by AI, but a lot of people in the comments believe they're totally real. Yes. And then there's another, my father-in-law just sent an AI video to my husband the other day, and his sister thought it was real. So
Yeah, that's a big problem I've been seeing. I don't know if like people my age, like our parents are kind of more, this is super, super new to them. Us, we kind of grew up in this computer internet world, so I feel like we have kind of more of an eye for what AI kind of looks like and what's real and what's fake and stuff like that. But there have been times where I've seen people say like, have you seen this picture of so and so, the celebrity doing this? And it's like, no, that's not real. Like, how do you know? But how do you know it's not real? Like, they just don't see how it couldn't be real. And it's hard. It's going to be hard because nowadays there's no real, especially on social media, there's no one going to be labeling it. And by the way, this is AI if it's going to generate clicks and comments and, monetization and stuff like that. So it's definitely new enough that there hasn't been any real laws really implemented in it yet, but it has been in discussion um, about it. Like, what do we have to do and what steps should we take in order to make sure that these people are going to be aware that this is being made with AI? And that's probably going to be a thing for any content moving forward, and especially in terms of movies and stuff like that, where such a large audience, there's going to be watching these movies or whatever, and they had no idea it was AI. So it's definitely new that the rules aren't really clear yet, but they're probably going to be. Okay, if there's nothing else, so we're gonna go into AI and ethics. So why is a relevant topic? Relevant topic. Well, we all know why. If you're here, you kind of understand that there has been some sort of back and forth, some sort of fear, some sort of frustration, even at times about AI and ethics. Like, why are certain things allowed? Why, like, why are things being labeled? Why are they replacing creativity? Are they replacing the human touch and stuff like that? But at the end of the day, like we said earlier in the week, AI is what we put into it. It's human made, it's not its own entity. So it means that we have to make AI systems, or the people who make AI, that are fair, transparent, and accountable. So, stuff that we can go into later on is, if, for example, if AI favors one gender over another in a hiring process, then that would be biased. But it wouldn't be the AI being biased necessarily, but we'll go into that. So, there we go. Understanding. So why is this important? So because AI is being implemented in things that are making real life decisions such as hiring, policing, and even medical diagnoses. These are really high stakes scenarios, so we need to be careful about the fairness and ethics of the decisions AI makes. I'm sure all of us are aware that, AI sometimes is involved in the process of hiring, and when we send our resumes, the AI is kind of making the decision on whether or not it goes through. We've heard about other things being used as medical decisions or diagnosing people. So these are things that are being introduced in these types of things, but they're probably going to be implemented further in the future. So it's important that we understand it. So some common misconceptions about AI. It's inherently biased or unethical, but the reality is it reflects data and algorithms it's built on. It doesn't possess intentions. So the AI doesn't actually have feelings or intentions or whatever. It's mostly what we put into it and the creator puts into it. So that's kind of not true, but it can be in sort of ways, but we'll get into that. Misconception number 2, it's impossible to fix. It's often bias can be identified and mitigated with thoughtful design, data diversity, and fairness techniques. So it's not impossible to fix because the whole point of AI is that it's always going to be worked on. It's always going to be updated. People who create it have the responsibility to make sure that it's working well and that any biases or anything that we detect that is wrong should be fixed. And number 3 is solely a technical problem. And it's not a technical problem because we are the ones who are controlling it. So if it's a complex issue because it's involving human and societal and cultural value. So where are the sources of bias coming from? First is data. If AI is trained on biased data, it will produce biased outcomes. So if the person who is implementing or creating AI is biased in and of itself and is implementing biased data, the outcomes will inevitably be biased, no matter what. So the second source is design choices. This might be intentional. So the person who is making it designs it a certain way and it works perfectly for what they probably intended it for. But if someone else comes in and inputs something that is completely different or isn't what the original designer put input into it, then it's probably going to give them different results, maybe biased results, unethical results. We just, it can be completely different from what they intended. And the third source is deployment context, which means real world applications can introduce unintended ethical issues. So, what we have seen, for example, what we have talked about earlier in the week is a person who was using a chat box to kind of communicate later on took his life because not because he was talking to the chatbots, but it was someone, and the chatbots was something that he was trying to vent to and all this stuff and whatever. I'm sure that the creators of the people who made these chatbots never intended for this kind of outcome. But real world stuff happens, and if you input real world problems into these chatbots, the result is unpredictable. We have no idea at the end of the day what is going to happen when you input real world stuff like mental health issues, all of the stuff to chatbots who aren't real and can only work on what this person was putting into these chatbots. So it's really limited in that point. The chatbots was not going to call 911, all of these things. It's just really a hard thing to work through. So examples of bias and ethical concerns. So hiring algorithms, cases where AI is amplified in gender and racial biases in hiring. So for example, I had seen someone who was trying to implement like an AI thing where trying to fix it because what would happen is they would test it and put in different applications and put in different names for each application. One that sounded, pretty American, the other one that sounded like a Hispanic name, all this stuff. And it would show that it would show bias and only really let through like the ones with the American, and they would be the exact same applications, the names would just be different. And so it would let through the one that sounded more American, but not the one that sounded more Hispanic. So that was something that they were testing and they were like, we got to fix this. Because in the real world, this could lead to even potentially legal problems because it's, not a smart thing to bring out into the real world. So criminal justice, it's being used they're introducing it to being used to predicting recidivism rates and healthcare. We've all heard about the healthcare part where it's being used to diagnose, but we have to be really careful because it could potentially misdiagnose or overlook minority populations. So it goes back to what we've said before. It's really good as a tool to use for all of these things, but we really have to not trust it 100%. We have to look through all of the things that it's giving out and make sure it's right, make sure it's not biased, make sure it's not doing anything unethical. Because if you're going to be using it in these real world kind of things like hiring, criminal justice, and healthcare, it has to be formulated in a way that's going to be as safe as possible. So what are some ways that we can address bias and ethical concerns? Well, first is improving data quality. So we have to use more representative, diverse data sets that can reduce bias outcomes. So at the end of the day, AI is trained. So if we train it as best as possible to be more diverse and ethical and representative of all of these minority stuff, we have to introduce the AI to it and make sure it knows this and this and this and has all of this data in it to make sure it doesn't happen that way. The second is conducting algorithm audits, and this is something we're kind of familiar with already. If we have updates on our phone all the time, we have updates on our apps because sometimes there's bugs, sometimes stuff is wrong, and they report to the creators and they're like, hey, we are sending this update because this is going wrong and we fixed it and stuff like that. Inevitably, that's going to happen with AI. There's probably going to be something that is wrong, like with Gemini, with Cole, who showed us yesterday. If you didn't like the answer it gave you, you have to report it and say, I didn't like this. And they'll probably go in and investigate and say, okay, how can we make it improve in the future to make sure it doesn't give an answer kind of like that. And third is promoting inclusive design. Diverse development teams bring different perspectives, and this applies to everything in the world. We have to bring more perspectives and different perspectives and make it so the AI is aware of all of these different perspectives that exist and how it could potentially be biased towards one because it's not introduced to it. So we have to implement creators or people who studying this, because there are going to be careers and degrees in AI in the future if they're not already happening now. So the more diverse, the better, and that applies to everything. So some key takeaways to this: it's not inherently unethical or biased. It just mirrors our societal bias and design choices. So again, if we are biased and our society is biased in a lot of ways, it's probably in some cases going to give out biased opinions, answers, or that of the sort. Ethical AI is achievable through intentional, diverse, and transparent approaches. This is going to probably be something that is going to be addressed with lawmakers and stuff like that. They're probably going to try to implement it to be as transparent as possible. Like we said, labeling stuff that is AI. If you go on Instagram right now and you try to post a picture, there's an option now saying, hey, do you want to tell people this is AI before you post it? Because, and that's probably going to be a thing now for all social media networks. But I don't know, it'll probably, and if we're already implementing that into our social media, it'll probably be implemented in like bigger media, like TV shows and movies. There'll probably be like a warning at the front, like this is AI generated, or the music is AI generated, or something along those lines. So the goal isn't to eliminate the bias, because it won't ever really go away, because all of us individually probably have some sort of bias to something, but it's to minimize it and manage it responsibly. And hopefully in the future we can manage to do that. There's not a lot of answers right now as to how or when or what's the best way, because it's still so new, but it's definitely going to be something we as a group keep our eyes on and make sure everybody is aware is happening. So if anyone wants to follow our Facebook to make sure to see any updates that we have, there's the link. And if you have any questions or comments or answers, me or the group will definitely answer you about any of this. But yeah, if anyone has any comments about their feelings about this, about ethics in AI, definitely put it into the chat or unmute if you feel the need to, about your opinions on. I know everybody has a lot of opinions about this particular topic of ethics in AI, and I know it's a scary thing. I'm also a person, as Dr. Edwards said, that I am kind of generally paranoid about this stuff. I'm not really into it. The meta-gen movie thing really, it's crazy. It's really, really unsettling if you let it be.
I have a comment, and it's just kind of a general like discussion topic, I think. But as an individual who doesn't create any of the AI tools, I think it's hard to try to figure out what we can do about AI ethics. I know we can kind of watch what we put in to any of the machine learning AI bots that we use, like ChatGPT or Gemini or Jasper or anything like that. We can control our own prompts, but it's hard to think about how we can make an impact as an individual versus someone who is like a business creating these things. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really easy for us to be like, there has to be something done
Mhm.
or whatever, but I'm sure it's them who are really working on this on a day-to-day basis. It's really difficult.
Yeah, I think for me, and of course anyone can chime in, but advocacy is probably the first thing that comes to my mind is just using your voice on different platforms and I don't know, educating yourself. And like what we're doing now is having discussions with peers and um, doing these courses.
Yeah. I mean, the best way to combat fears with knowledge, and as long as we are all informing ourselves about it, that's really all we can do right now. Informing ourselves and, as you said, use our voice, because it's a difficult topic for a lot of people right now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, great job, Alba. We are very excited to talk about AI ethics. And one thing that I always look at is we can somewhat regulate what happens in the US. However, if we're looking at other countries and to know and acknowledge that they are creating AI tools too, which may have positive or nefarious purposes. And so that's something that we need to keep in mind. We can regulate AI as much as we want to in the US. However, in other countries, that's not as highly regulated or potentially not as ethical, or maybe it's more ethical. We don't know. But that's something I also wanted to pose to the group when we're looking at AI and ethics, just to think about it's not just from the US perspective, but from like other countries' perspectives as well. All right. All right. We are going to launch a quick poll. And the team has not seen these yet, so just a heads up. So they get to participate as well. But I'm excited. I am also going to remove Alba as co-host so Alba can participate as well. And here are our questions. Okay, so we have a few questions, and I'm not sure if the fill in the blank questions will work, so we're testing those out. But the first question is, how often should we meet for an AI discussion? This is something that's been very interesting to have so many different people from so many walks of life come to this common place to talk about AI. I think has been very valuable. And so if you're interested in continuing the conversation, we're just wanting to know how often you would like to meet and also like what you would like to talk about. And so those are just some things to think about. But AI is changing almost every single day. I mean, not almost every single minute for that matter. And so it's important to be at the forefront because it's going to affect education, it's going to affect not infect, but affect healthcare, emergency management. It will affect the way that we live, the way that we breathe, the way that we eat. AI is being used for ag. And so picking vegetables, picking fruits, selecting the fruits that are the ripest to the fruits that are not. And so those are all things that we should think about and not to scare anyone, but I just want us to know what's going on in the world around us. And so I'm just going to pause for a second because I know that you guys have comments. And so if this is our last day, and I'm kind of sad about that. So this is our last day. The first thing is I want you guys to give our IAICI team a hand because they have done an amazing job in getting this content out and together. And so I'm very proud of all of their efforts and them displaying their levels of expertise. And one thing I neglected to say is many of our IAICI fellows are undergrads, they're grad students, so people who presented this week, and then also we have fellows. And so those are individuals who have either graduated from Tarleton or graduated from another institution, and they are presenting for you. They're volunteering their time to present for you this week. And so I just wanted to applaud their efforts. I'm going to hush for a second because I can talk a lot. And so if you guys could weigh in on maybe one thing that you learned this week that you did not know on day one, and how has this impacted or has it impacted your outlook on AI? And I'm muting my mic.
So I will say, first of all, I just want to say this has been really great. And part of what I've really enjoyed about it is that some of these are former students of mine. So I love that I'm learning from them instead of me being their professor. But I really do feel like I've learned a lot. And I've taken a bunch of little free AI courses, but this one was so interactive that I felt like I got so much more out of it than what I got by taking some of those generic free ones that kind of teach you. I didn't know about Genesis at all. And I mean, Gemini at all. And now I've actually already tried it out because I put in a prompt to try to see if I could come up with like a research topic. I'm the faculty advisor for PRSSA. And I've always been trying to think like, what could I do to do a research topic on, PRSSA? And it gave me some great ideas. So I'm just like, I feel like this is really going to help me career wise. And that's the hopefulness. Today scared me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Today was a little scary. I definitely see this as being used not for good. And so, I hope that soon we will develop the tools that will be able to tell us like what is AI generated and what isn't.
So I'll jump back in. This is just, to me, it's an extension of validating information. It's got me more hyper aware of what I'm reading and what I'm seeing. There's already so much disinformation in social media. And it reminds me of what's the old book by Saul Alinsky, Rules for Radicals. You got to be old probably to remember the book, but people can, with disinformation, create believability, and they have been since before computer age. But it's getting to the point now, it's really difficult. And I think what we all have to do is learn to be even more hyper aware of what we see and read. Because it seems like every day, my wife or coworker comes to me and goes, man, have you seen, have you heard? Like, where did you get the information? Let's see if we can validate it. And that's, to me, going forward, is being able to validate information is going to be just paramount to learning. is being able to validate information. But I love the class. I love the fact that we're all talking about it. And my goodness, please, please keep it going, because we have to keep talking about it to bring awareness to it. But thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those comments, and for everyone who's commenting in the chat as well. I just wanted to kind of point some of those out, that someone said that this whole class has been an eye-opener, and that they played around with ChatGPT for a long time, late in the night / early in the morning. And then someone else said that they're learning from other disciplines and seeing the advantages and disadvantages from other industries. And that's really important too, is to just note that, for instance, my industry is digital marketing. So that is one that is being hit really hard on how we could use it to develop marketing strategy, but also in the content creation, there are a lot of advantages, but are also a lot of disadvantages. How is AI going to kind of take some of those roles away from digital marketing? So that, I think that's great, is to learn from other people's perspectives and how we're using it. And definitely, I'm excited to keep this conversation going.
Anyone else? Ooh, I'm seeing the chat now. Okay, going once, going twice. Okay. So we are going to send, well, a couple of things. So let's end the poll, and we're going to share the results. Okay, so next steps that you would want to meet 2 times per month. So 50%, 2 times per month, and then 36% says once per month. Okay, perfect. And then also, I think AICI should explore these topics. And so let's see, it says view details. So let's see what happens when I click that. I've never done the short answer question, so this is new for me. So we will see what this says. Can anyone see the short answers, or I might have to put that in the email today?
I think we can only see the ones we put in ourselves.
Yes, yeah, same.
Okay, so I will send that to everyone today as soon as I can figure out how to to view those. But yeah, let's continue the conversation. We'll keep the fast course group open. So as you see resources, or as you think of different things, or as you have aha moments about different prompts to put into AI tools, or if you discover a new AI tool, please put that into the fast course, because that's going to have life after this experience. And then also for your certificates, please make sure that you're responding to each of the basically each of the day's prompts. And so those go out at 3 p.m. And so those are as part of our Facebook group of the fast course. So and I know a majority of you have done that already, but please make sure, if you have not, please make sure that you do. And then also, all of the videos are archived. And so I've been sending those every day. But if you missed one, or maybe you registered a little bit later than everyone else, then just let me know and I will send those to you. I will also pause to see if you have any questions for us at this moment, because I know this was a very fast course, no pun intended, and I just want to make sure that we have not forgotten about anything either.
I just want to say real quick, I just want to give a quick shout out to Cole and Samantha, because this is the first time they've ever presented with us as in our organization. So they've done amazing, both of them. I know it's been really nerve-wracking to do it for the first time, but they did amazing. So I just want to give a quick shout out to both of them for being fully integrated in our group now.
Thank you so much. I've loved being a part of this and getting to learn from you guys as well. And it being so interactive, and I think it's been a really good opportunity for all of us to learn more about AI, and I think it's opened a lot of people's eyes, and it's made a good impact.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, and thank you, Alba, for highlighting Cole and Samantha. I forgot that this was the first time that they presented. So we are excited. And also we have a question in the chat. Are there any other courses planned for the future? We need to talk about that. We meet every Friday. And so we will definitely talk about that and get back with you guys in the group. And we look forward to interacting with you in the future weeks. All right. Look forward to a challenge in December. Just putting that out there. Just look forward to a challenge because we plan on issuing a challenge to the group in December. All right. Well, everyone have a amazing day and go out there, do something new with AI, and we will see all of you very soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you guys for your participation.
Thank you, guys.